Hi, everybody. This is Annette Wittenberger. I am the Parents for Good podcast host. Hope. We're going to just provide hope today. It's just been a morning. So let's just keep it real. But today we are going to be talking about kindness and the ripple effect. This episode of Parents for Good is powered by Digital for Good, and it takes a deep dive into the transformative power of kindness. We are thrilled to invite and welcome an extraordinary guest who embodies the spirit of compassion in the work that they do. So, joining us today is Jessica Manfre. She is the compassionate co founder of and the CFO of Inspire Up Foundation. She brings her experience. She has a lot of experience of supporting veterans and military families. Her commitment to service and advocacy highlights the profound impact kindness can have on our communities. So, in this conversation, we're going to explore how kindness can ripple through our lives. And as you can see here, the Inspire Up Foundation is doing amazing things. They had one of their ambassadors actually go on the Kelly Clarkson show to talk about their foundation and what they're doing for our communities. And they were also highlighted in a magazine talking about all the things with Maria Mendez Reed and Samantha. So tune in as we unravel stories of their journeys and the kindness that age and I'm sorry. Oh gosh. I am fumbling over my words today, but this is just real life. Tune in as we unravel stories of kindness that transcend age and life stages, creating a wave of positivity and connection. So let's just get this started. Let's just bring in Jessica Manfre, so you can see her amazing face. I know everyone's laughing. Girl, it's been nuts. Okay. So let's just start here. We love to start our show with one word that you are feeling about today's conversation.
So I think it's funny that you said hope on accident, because that's actually my word. So it was meant to be. That fumble was meant to be. I'm very hopeful. I'm hopeful because, it's very easy to, look at what's going on in the world or see unkindness or ugliness and believe that there's no good. We can all fall into that trap. But I'm feeling hopeful, especially, the day before Giving Tuesday, when everybody's rallying to do community service projects, to be kind to one another. I am hopeful. Like this is such a hopeful day. So yeah, that's my word.
I love that. It was so meant to be for me to fumble today.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sliding that in and saving me.
Oh yeah.
So also, before we get into our whole conversation today, I do want to play a quick video about the highlights of what the Inspire Up Foundation is doing. So watch here.
Can I share a story with you? I'm Maria Reed. I'm an Army spouse of 20 years, and along with two other military spouses, we run the Inspire Up Foundation. But I'll let them tell you a little bit about it.
It all started in 2019 when we founded Giving Tuesday Military. We wanted to bring kindness back into the world, knowing that we didn't want to focus on just one day, but to encourage radical generosity and community always.
Giving Tuesday Military is our hallmark foundational program. It allows us to activate ambassadors all over the globe and show them how to be the good. It's why we named our nonprofit Inspire Up. It's not about us and what we can do. It's about inspiring the next wave of generosity and kindness. To help standing beside these two ladies to run this organization has given nothing but joy to my life.
I think one of the most important things that you can do is give people hope. We want to step in the gap and be the ones that can help.
It's been 3 years since we were formed, and in that time, we have been able to create some incredible programming, from our impact grants to continuing Giving Tuesday Military, which quite literally activates ambassadors all over the globe, to serving our military and first responder community through, the in-person events where, there's engaging content, incredible speakers, and a lot of fun. If we've learned anything in these last few years, it's the vital need for connection and community. And we are so excited to see what the future will bring for us to be able to do that.
There is so much more that we can do. And with your generosity, we can make it happen. Thank you.
I love that.
I love
Thank
my
you guys
girls.
so much. You guys are so amazing, but we'll talk about all of that later because I know that there's a few of us who've been a part of two of your retreat or one retreat and another event. So, and it was just it's so much, so many feelings. So let's get into it. Could you share with us what inspired you to co-found Inspire Up and become its chief financial officer? What drives your passion in that role?
Well, I'm going to make you guys laugh first. So just to let you know, there were 4 of us who founded Inspire Up. Stacy Billadu stepped back earlier this year to focus on her family, but she's always a founder. And for us, it really stemmed from that first year of Giving Tuesday military and not wanting it to be one day. We wanted to be able to give back all year long. As for my role, none of us wanted to take the CEO role. Nobody wanted to be the leader because we all lead together, right? We're codependent. So we did a random generator. But it ended up working out perfectly. And, we're all pretty, we believe in God and, we're Christians. And so for us, it was like, okay, it was meant to be. I am the, somewhat anal controlling one. So the fact that I am the CFO with spreadsheets and I've done, strength finders, I know that I am like intensely strategic. Like it's perfect for me. Maria Reed is our CEO and she has a business mind, a creative mind. It's perfect, right? And then you've got Sam, who's our learner, who's also, physician assistant, just with all this knowledge, being able to operate. So God was looking out when we literally spun that random generator. But really, as far as like why, the why was the next day after that first Giving Tuesday military campaign and saying, what more can we do? And how do we do it not through our own bank accounts? Because that's going to get weird.
Right. No, you're so that's a funny story, but also it's amazing to see how God places you on the path that you're meant to be on. Like how funny that you're perfect for that role. Maria's perfect. That's just, it worked out so amazing.
Perfect.
And I really love that. I know when I won a grant through you guys a couple of years ago, I think that really fueled my whole heart to try to figure out how I could give back and not always from my bank account. But what I loved the most was when I won that grant, I too was like, how can I do more? And I matched that. So whatever you guys offered for a grant, I matched it because I was like, and I know we talked about not from our pocketbooks, but in that moment, I just felt like this calling, like it was just meant to be to do something. And then from then on, I just felt like how else can I do more? And I love always resharing your posts because we need more people to do it for the right reasons. And I think it's hard because there are some out there that aren't. So why we need to just have that reminder, like how can we keep inspiring up and keep giving back no matter what you do. And we could talk about all that. But yeah, that's what I think kicked off my heart. I've always been that person that wants to give back, but when it was something like that, I was like, oh God, like I really, how can I do more? So yeah. Anyway, it was really, really,
it's a ripple.
It is. It really is. And I love that it's one Tuesday a year, but it's every day. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, I don't know. I could talk about it all day. So the second question I want to ask you is, given your extensive experience working with military families, how have you seen acts of kindness and support and how the support impacts their lives, especially in terms of mental health and well-being?
Yeah. So, I talk about this. I wrote about this in my book. I talk about this often if I speak about mental health, but doing for others naturally makes our brains light up like Christmas trees. Like the hormones that surge, it's such a feel good thing. And, you know, I'm not naive, nor would I tell people or patients I work with that it's going to solve all your problems. But what it does do is it puts you in the headspace to be able to tackle them. And so, you know, I just think it's a beautiful way to get in that space and be able to serve yourself after you've served someone else or done something. And I've also watched, you know, what the impact looks like when people are radically kind. You know, we're so used to giving, right? I think, I don't know what the statistic is, but I know that as far as military spouses go, when it comes to volunteerism, the rate is very high. We will, you know, raise our hands first. We will be there down in the trenches, giving and doing, but we're not very good at asking for help ourselves sometimes. And so, being able to, you know, be the recipient when you needed it the most and didn't think anybody saw you, I think that's really powerful. As far as like how it impacts things, I think it just changes everything. You know, the whole world went through what we kind of go through, you know, as military families with separation and isolation during the pandemic. And, you know, we watched what it was like to go on a drive and have people put, you know, kind words in their windows, you know, or leave messages for healthcare workers. Like, what did that do? You know, the most searched word during that time was prayer. Like, we deeply needed each other, that connection. And so for me, I think kindness is almost that, like, that window, you know, to letting people in, letting the light in, and being the good and having hope.
I love how you're speaking about how it does, being kind and doing for others really does help our mental health. When I was suffering, well, I'm not gonna say when I was suffering, I still live with it. But when I first started realizing that I do have PTSD, depression, anxiety, I was like, I need to do something, or I'm going to go nuts. And that's how I started my whole business. But I really do feel good going through my own self-healing journey and helping others. I don't know what it is, but it helps me too. And I do have someone I know on LinkedIn actually wrote a book about volunteering, like a volunteeraholic. Um, I don't I don't want to make I don't want to put that as a negative term, but I will volunteer like crazy because I love to do it. I do things all the time for free, and I don't even see it as for free. Other people have turned it that way. I
Mm-hmm.
see it as, what else can I do? And my husband's always like, are you sleeping? Are you're overcommitting yourself? I'm like, I know, but I have to do what I have to do. I will stay up till midnight to do somebody else. But I love it. I love it. And I love how you speak about that, because no one really can truly understand how it does get saying a nice word to somebody. I'm always trying to compliment, and it's not even like I'm trying. It just comes. If
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone's hair the other day was purple, and I was like, oh my God, I love your hair. Like, I truly love your hair. And to see them light up is just like, I don't
Oh
know, it
yeah.
just brings so much, you know what I mean? The smallest things. Just to them, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know about my hair, I don't know. But I really freaking loved it. And I just, it's just the little things, I think, that can make somebody just change their lives. Um,
Oh yeah. Can save lives. You know, I believe in the power of it. I just, and that's one of the reasons why our whole campaign around Giving Tuesday Military is based on kindness. Yes, some things cost money. Like, we're not naive to that, but we really wanted to focus on giving blood, going through your gently used items and donating them to a shelter, writing chalk messages of, you know, kindness. You know, it can be so small. And so we really also wanted it to be inclusive, because listen, inflation's high. Life's hard. I want, you know, the most junior of families to be able to participate in this and know that what they're doing has a huge impact and has that ripple, you know, because that person you're kind to is probably going to be kind to the next person, and you never know. It's unending, really.
no, you're right. And that brings me back to one story. I don't know what it was. I went to a bagel shop one time when I was stationed in Virginia, and there was a girl waiting in line after me. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I want to get her stuff too. And the guy was like, you want to get hers too? I'm like, yeah, whatever she's having, just put it on. I want
Mm-hmm.
to pay for it. That girl stopped and was like, oh my God, I was just on my way to a funeral. You don't know how much this means to me. And I literally was like, you just, the littlest things, and you just don't know. You don't have to pay for someone's bagel or coffee, but the fact that you thought about them on this day that you didn't even know was going on this event that was happening, it just, yeah, I don't know.
Powerful.
Yeah,
Powerful.
it just makes me, I'm so emotional all the time. I don't know. I just love these. You
I
can't
love
say
it. Embrace it.
but you're right. You don't know whose life you're saving just by listening to them, picking up that phone, whatever the case is.
Exactly.
Our next question is, what have been some of the most significant challenges and rewarding moments in your journey of serving in these populations and advocating for mental health resources?
Oh my gosh. And I think this is relatable to everyone. No matter what you're advocating for, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be, and I won't even deem them failures, just things that don't work the way you want them to. And some things take a lot longer than others, especially if we're talking about policy or law changes. Like, that is not an overnight process. And so it's definitely a challenge, especially for someone like me, who wants things done right away, right? Like, I see a wrong, I want to right it. We have a solution, let's go. And so I think for me, it's reminding myself to respect the journey and take the wins where they come. And it goes back to what we were just discussing. Nothing is too small. And so for me, that's what I will hold on to, because a lot of what I deal with can be very hard stuff. You kind of talked about my bio, like I'm a full-time therapist. I help run the Inspire Up Foundation. I write, but I also run our domestic violence program for our Coast Guard Aid Society, Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. And that's really hard. Those stories are really hard. The things that we, have to do for these families and are able to do are wonderful, but it's still hard. And so I would, anyone who's listening who may be doing something similar or serving and having those moments, I would just remind them to kind of unpack them when you're there, process them, don't box them up, because it's going to spill, right? It is okay, to be sad. It's okay to feel anger, when there's injustice. But then it's like, okay, what can I do? What am I in control of in this moment? I can't control this, 3 ring, whatever, but what can I do in this moment? What am I capable of? And I saw this quote and I love it. You can do anything, you can't do everything. So I try and remind myself of that, and hopefully that inspires others who maybe are walking that same path.
You are so right. Because I'm such an emotional person, I'm so empathetic and I feel so hard for others who are suffering, that to remind myself that quote that you just said was very difficult, because I felt so bad for this family that I took on so much that I broke down. I literally had a mental breakdown, and I had to call a friend, and she's like, Annette, you can only do so much. And I was just like ugly crying, because it was so hard for me to say, oh my God, I have to let go. I can't do any more for this family. And that's really hard. But I think if we, and this is hard for people to hear, I think sometimes we just need to leave it to God too, and pray about it and say, okay, please take this on for me, because I can't do anymore. But it's very hard. And it is also okay to ask for help too. Like you said, just, take a breather, step back. You can only do so much, but that's hard for us, because we want to do so much, right?
We want to fix it all. And listen, I've been there, even with my knowledge. 2 years ago, my hair was falling out from stress because I was trying to do too much. And, I have a very good friend, Krista Simpson Anderson, love her. And I will never forget these words of wisdom that she gave to me while I was sobbing in her lap. She said, if Inspire Up closes its doors tomorrow, does that mean that everything you've done was a waste?
Ooh, yeah.
And it put me in the moment and made me go, okay, Jessica, look at what you've been able to, because I was always future, like, we can do more, we can do more, we can do more, we can help more, right? Like, I want to, And then it was like, no, like, you're enough. I say that to my patients enough, don't I? You're enough. I'm enough. It is a really hard thing to say no. And I've been where you've been, and it really comes to a place of like, what am I able to take on and give, 110% to, while also giving that same percentage to myself.
Yes. As I was listening to you talk about if Inspire Up closes tomorrow, would it be a waste? And the thing that I've been struggling with the work that I do is you have left a legacy that people will remember forever, no matter what you guys have done or what you have to do. If it closes tomorrow, you'll be remembered forever. And I think that's amazing. It's how you made people feel. And I had to be reminded too, because my passion is to leave a legacy for my kids and my grandson. So I know that if I had to stop tomorrow, they will know what mom did, what grandma did, and how she made people feel. Ooh. So always remember that. And I know you know this, but for the people that are listening, no matter what happens, we have left a legacy, and that's what people will remember. So anyway, okay. as we have to wrap this up because life, but I want to ask you one last question. How can we support Inspire Up? What can we do?
Oh my gosh. Share, we are a small nonprofit, but we do offer impact grants. We do, in-person events for the community. We want to hear from you. Giving Tuesday Military is open to everyone. If you want to be an ambassador and serve in your community, we're going to support you. We have great partners that allow us to give separate grants specifically for that program. I am super proud to let everybody know that this year we have an ambassador in every single state, 2 territories, and 5 countries. The most we've ever had is 45 states. And so like this was like our ultimate goal, is to get one person to lead a project in all states. And so that is really, really special. And anybody can do it. And I think the biggest question I get from people who aren't aware of, what it is, well, how do I do it? Whatever it looks like to you, we're going to support you. We ask that people not fundraise in our name. That is the only thing we ask. We're going to provide you grants if you've got specific projects that need certain things, but we want you to really, go into your community and tell us what the needs are. Because what I'm going to do in my little corner of the woods in North Carolina is going to look a lot different than somebody in Guam or somebody in Germany. You have different needs. There are different issues, but I don't think there's a limit to kindness. So that's what I would love. I would love viewers to share the power, of kindness, share, the resources that we have. But yeah, as far as tomorrow, go out and be kind, share. It sounds really selfish, right? We call it the unselfie though, because you are snapping a picture of a receipt because you paid it backwards and you paid for the person's coffee behind you. You don't know who's going to see that and be inspired to do the same thing or do something more, or the change that you're leaving at the laundromat. Or my favorite, it's creepy, I'm going to get in trouble one day, is I will go around literally with a Post-it note, and I will write words like, you are enough, you're fabulous, you're amazing, and put them on car doors, like the windows. One day, something bad's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet, because I try to imagine what those people think when they just come back to their car and they're like, what? Like maybe they were having a terrible day and those words changed everything. So absolutely share, come join. We have a Facebook group where you can learn all things. You can go to givingtuesdaymilitary.com. We have a separate website specifically for that, because, to have DOD and Coast Guard support, Homeland support, we have to make sure it's separate from our nonprofit. But yeah, I want to see people be kind. I want to see a wave of generosity tomorrow, because we need it. Our country needs it. The world needs it.
I love that so much. So when you're talking about Post-it notes, there was actually a woman, and I should have gotten her name. I didn't know who she was, but when we were in Las Vegas at that conference, she was walking around with stickers that says, you are enough. And I was like, how did she know that you know what I mean? It was crazy, because I don't know who she was, and I wish I would have stopped, but it was chaos there. But when she was giving us the stickers, I was like, oh my God, this is so we're going to find a way to get 1 million stickers made for you guys so that we can pass them out and tell and remind
Love
them
it.
that, like stick it on a water bottle. I collected so many stickers from, but I think it's those little ones, they need, they're a reminder to someone who you didn't even know needed it. So
Mhm.
I love it. I love your Post-it notes. It's not creepy. Someone needs to read it.
Somebody needs it.
You're right. Thank you so much for being on here, Jessica. I know you have a busy schedule, and we had quite an eventful morning this morning with all kinds of things happening, but we made this happen, and you're a blessing to many, and you're leaving a legacy for many. So thank you so much for being you.
I love you guys, and right back at you. The two of you, all of you, inspire me, and just this conversation is inspiring to me. I can't tell you. It means a lot to be able to start. Like, essentially, this is Giving Tuesday, right? It's the day before. It's the eve. It's amazing.
It is. So if you are doing something tomorrow, make sure to post it, tag everybody, and just share with us what you're doing for Giving Tuesday. So thank you so much.